I'm trying to ruin my life. Me and Whitney are just sitting here cackling, trying to start this podcast.
Y'all.
Whitney found a picture of her baby, a newborn, and she said this baby still had the womb press.
That's what Rita said. The good womb press. I
when
was like,
the baby hair just slicked down,
just slicked.
Slick. I had about a good week of slick, and then my genetics turned on and was like, "Hey, girl,
listen, I don't even think I had that. I think I was born bald, and then like it just like all of my ancestry came out of my roots.
There you go. I support it.
But yeah, oh my gosh, she's so small. She wasn't even out of the womb 12 hours in this.
She new, fresh, didn't even want to open her eyes.
No, she's like, I'm gonna just stay here and just snuggle. And that's just been her MO. She's just so chill. Like, hey y'all, what's up?
Tight and swaddled. She is here with opinions. I love that.
So many opinions.
I love it. And she likes to tell you the opinions. I like that too.
With a lot of words now. Like, that's a challenge.
Do you want some grapes in me? She'd be like, no, I don't think so. Okay.
Yeah.
She thought about it. She contemplated, and no, she don't want them. I love it.
Not really in the mood for that. Okay. All right, girl.
Know yourself, know your feelings. We're gonna talk about feelings. I got a couple of things on my heart.
What's on your heart, friend?
It's a lot of things, but let's start with, we have a rubric and a plan for this show. We deviate all the time. But first, I have to ask my friendly neighborhood co-host how she's doing. How was your weekend? How was your week? How you living?
I'm good. We're doing a pivot. We're doing a content shift. Ooh. In my work. I'm noticing I'm doing a lot more book talks and book reviews.
Okay.
Which reminds me of my problematic story I wanted to tell. I don't know if I want to tell it now or later.
We'll save it for the segment. Let's save it for the segment.
Please don't let me forget.
I won't let you forget. I'm gonna put it in the notes.
But I've been working with I was working with a few different book entities, like Penguin Random House, specifically their imprint.
The big
Crown.
ones. Go, girl.
Stop.
The big ones. No, if you're not gonna flex, I'm gonna flex for you.
I'm not flexing. They just send me books and I talk about them, and I'm having a good time. Right now, I'm reading this book. It's called A Minor Revolution. It's actually really good. It talks about how the world views children. Like in certain countries, like Japan, they start their kids walking to school by themselves, like alone at 5 years old.
A Minor Revolution. Okay, who's the author?
The author is Adam Benforado.
Okay.
Benforado. Yes.
All right. Spelled like it share it with the listeners.
Yes, it's actually very, very good. But yeah, like in Japan, they start their kids walking home from school at like 5 years old, but they have this belief that the culture takes care of children.
That's true.
So like if you like they send their kids to the market to pick up like little things for them, like at young ages, but everyone takes care of the kids. Mm-hmm. So like if they can't reach something and you see them struggling, you go help them. Mm-hmm. Little things like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like how wild would it be to see just like a herd of like 5-year-olds just walking by themselves to school
with grocery bags?
Yeah, how about that? Like coming home with like, all right, it's time for dinner. But like that teaches them responsibility. It teaches them like the value of community. And like, I'm not saying it's like 100% safe because there's always going to be creeps, but what it's like to value children. I notice in our culture, we don't really value children or old people.
We don't treat them like people. We treat them like inconveniences. And that was
possessions.
Wild and apparent during the pandemic.
Y'all didn't even like your own offspring.
I say it all the time. And I get the inconvenience. Don't get me wrong. Nobody likes to be inconvenienced.
Nobody.
But the way y'all complained about having to take care of your own damn children,
your own babies.
You had these babies.
What
I'm supposed to do?
Send them out into the pandemic
for 8 hours. What I'm supposed to feed them because they using their summer stomachs and it's October.
Now that's a real thing.
It is.
That's a real thing, and that's a challenge.
But they're yours.
They are.
Who else is supposed to do it? If somebody got to figure it out, baby, it's you.
It is
not the president.
You. No, it's not. That's not their job. It's your job to look after your own crotch fruit. So I want y'all to just.
And you're talking about Japan with the community looking out for all of the kids. A lot of you parents, not you listeners, because our listeners are good parents.
Oh, listen,
but a lot of
parents.
you other parents,
y'all over there,
y'all don't even want to look out for your own kids,
your own children, your own babies.
But you want the community, yeah. That's a thing. So the book is A Minor Revolution by Adam Benforado. I'm going to get the Fornado. I'm going to make sure I have the proper spelling in the episode.
Very good. Very, very good. So I haven't been listening to anything, but I've been reading a lot of things.
I'm proud of you, friend. I think that you should share a book that you've been covering every week in this segment.
Play with me because it is now Hispanic Latinx month.
It is.
I'm also reading at the same time because I'm a nerd. Such a nerd. There's a book called Brown Enough. And it's by Christopher Rivas.
Okay. Christopher Rivas.
It is that's an amazing book. And it talks about a lot of different issues, but like one of the main themes that I noticed in that book is that like Latino people feel like they're missing or underrepresented in media and in news. And so, you know me, I got to look at stats. So I went to NPR because, I'm an NPR girl.
You are.
To the bottom of my soul.
I'm going to make you a shirt that says NPR girl.
I love NPR. I love them so much. I listen to them every day. That's not an ad, I promise. But if they would like to work with the Problematic Podcast,
give us a call.
Or email us at
the problematicpod@gmail.com, or you can text us at 267-225-4648.
We'd love to work with you. They were saying that in media, despite the fact that Latinos represent 19% of the population, they only represent 7%. Latinos represent 7% in media, and Latinas 3%.
Wow.
And that's in front of and behind the camera. That's in film, that's in TV, that's in news, that's in books. They don't see themselves,
right? And that's a problem. Being the largest, especially in America, they are the largest minority in America. There are more Latinos than African Americans or people of African descent in America. So that's a wild statistic. I didn't know. I'm not surprised, but I did not know it was that ridiculous.
So,
all right. Brown Enough. Christopher Rivas. Y'all go out and get on your Kindles and get in your bookstores and go over to Uncle Bobby's, because I'm sure Mark got it, and grab it.
Mark. Why we treat him like that?
Because he Mark from over there in Germantown.
Yeah.
Every time I go into Uncle Bobby's, he's in there. So it's like
every single time. And
working. He's in there working.
Pouring a cup, talking to somebody, arranging a book. I'm like, sir, you work here.
He works there. Shout out to Mark Lamont.
Make it bigger. It's like a closet. It's like going into a book closet with a bunch of people. Like, Mark, please just
knock that wall down in that other space and expand, bro.
Do you know how dope that would be? Oh my God. No, it'll be more packed. It just gives more people more reason to come.
True, but also we want to be there. So
we do want to be there.
I'm gonna have to tag Mark in this episode. Go ahead and listen to our pills.
Please don't.
No, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it right on Twitter. Listen to us. No. We know what we're talking about.
Mark,
we want to be there.
Do not listen to us. We
are also buy some of my art for your space. I have really
absolutely
dope Black literary art. Hit me up.
Do that. I'm sure she'll have a lovely Toni Morrison for you. She'll do a Maya Angelou for you.
What's sick is that I have a half-finished Toni Morrison in this room that I'm sitting at right now.
All right, so this is the part where I cuss you out because
I know.
Toni Morrison is venerated over
You're
here.
the reason I'm doing the painting, dear.
Oh,
yes, I just need to finish it with the art show being this weekend. I was super busy. So yes. Yeah. So
yeah.
Thank you for your book selections and for also sharing my art. I do have a song by Vic Mensa released an album. He released a project on
Did
Friday.
He now?
And you guys may or may not know, but Vic Mensa has been on a healthier kick. He has practicing a life of sobriety from drugs, from cigarettes, from alcohol. And I haven't had an opportunity to finish the entire album. I actually got stuck on a song called Strawberry Louis Vuitton, and it's the best way I can describe this song is if you like Silk Sonic, think of a Silk Sonic like bluesy, funky soul era song. It's that production with him rapping.
I like it.
It's a really good song. It's a really I can see myself running errands and playing this song in a nice full fall crisp air that is here apparently.
We woke up yesterday and she showed up like, "Hey girl.
She's in town. She's here. I'm ready for apple cider and hay rides. Let's get it. Sweatshirts
and hot cocoa.
I've purchased, and this is not an exaggeration because I went back and counted. I have purchased 14 hoodies or sweatshirts this year. Just over the course of the spring and summer, and I cannot wait to share them all.
Listen, release the fabrics on us.
I can't
just release the fabrics.
But for anybody who's interested, please check out Vic Mensa, Strawberry Louis Vuitton, and just listen to the album. Thus far, hearing him, he sounds less angry, more clear, and the content changes when the work is being done. So I've always been a Vic Mensa fan. He's very lyrical. I feel like he's very much in tune with what young people like and care about, those who actually like and care about music. So please check out Strawberry Louis Vuitton on his new project. Are you ready to get into some of the mess that has been going on? It's not bad mess. It's just mess.
I didn't even respond. I just kind of made a face at you.
Do you watch?
Oh no.
VMAs? Did you watch the VMAs? Let me not say do you watch the VMAs.
I am an elder.
I too am an elder.
I'm old. I feel like at this point watching the VMAs is just an exercise in how old I am. I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna know anybody.
So to be fair, I did not watch the entirety of the VMAs. What I did was I followed along on Twitter, and then when Black Twitter got excited about a moment or a lead up, I turned it on. So I was flicking back and forth between that.
That was smart.
And a sports documentary. So it's great. But I do like checking in. Two things before we get into Nicki Minaj, Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, and Selena Gomez.
Oh, I saw those. Well, I didn't see Nicki, but I saw Cardi, I saw Megan.
I was very proud of the fact that when I watched the VMAs for the segments that I did watch, I knew the people they were talking about. They had NSYNC back. It felt like a flashback. The NSYNC was at the VMA, the whole group, all of them, all 5 of them, in good suits, together.
I bet you the gay one looked the best.
He did. You gotta check out. His skin
was probably so clear.
Yeah. The hair was hairing.
He probably looked he probably looked really young, like he didn't age at all.
NSYNC was in the building, and of course, the Taylor Swifts, but then there's the Selenas, and all of the people who I actually, as an auntie and an elder, were there. They honored Shakira. I'm like, this is for us. They did this show.
Thank you.
For us. Few things. Nicki Minaj hosted. I want the internet.
Wait.
Yes. Yes.
Nicholas Minaj hosted?
I'm about to fight you. Yes, she did. She was the VMA host. She hosted at the VMAs. She was there and presenting and speaking and doing the rapping.
She was talking to us?
Yeah, she was talking. She was there, and people seem to think that she did a pretty good job. So shout out to her before I start criticizing. Not necessarily her, but the fans. One of the things that grabbed my attention on Twitter the most, that had me actually realizing that she was up there speaking and talking to people, was every time something happens with Nicki Minaj or Cardi B, the Nicki fans and the Cardi fans get on the internet and start throwing Twitter fingers. Not hands, Twitter. Can y'all give it a fucking
Give
rest?
it a rest. God, everybody's like grown.
You can be a fan of one of these ladies or both of these ladies, and you don't have to argue about it. I promise you.
We don't care.
Everybody still makes their money. You still get to stream their song.
They still twerking. I don't understand what the problem is. You still gonna see your fave. They're not gonna get locked away because you didn't tweet that they were your fave that day. I promise you, it's okay.
It's so weird. The fandom is getting, y'all are threatening people. Y'all are talking about kicking people's babies when they walk out of. I saw that someone threatening a woman and saying she knew where her kid went to daycare. Over Nicki Minaj and Cardi
online, when you gonna get arrested. Y'all trying to get locked
Ivy up. And Al Gore's internet.
Y'all are as bad as MAGA getting locked up for somebody who don't know or care about you.
It's not, and you know what? You point out a very interesting. It's clearly an overarching trend. It's not just the beehive, the barbs, or I don't know what Cardi's people call them, but I don't know. What's the Cardi clan called? Y'all should be the Cardi clan.
Please don't call yourselves the Cardi clan.
I can see where that could be problematic. But the cards, the barbs, I don't know.
Cards?
But I'm noticing that it's this, people are willing to really be emotionally volatile and dangerous. Fight.
Yeah.
Over fanhood. I was a fan of
people who don't know you.
I was a fan of B2K coming up 100 years ago as a kid, and there was never a reason I felt the need to, I would say, oh, that's my husband, but I never felt the need to fight nobody over it. I was a huge Bow Wow fan. That's embarrassing to say now, sometimes he does the goofiest things.
During the time in which you were a Bow Wow fan, it was perfectly acceptable. We have to remember that we did the best with what we had during the time and when we lived it. So give yourself grace.
I do, but again,
I know you're a Bow Wow fan now.
I mean, I went to see him in concert before the 2 years straight. That's neither here nor there, though.
Now I'm judging you.
But the point is, I would not feel the need to fight, and I was a huge fan. Posters and sticker tattoos and T-shirts at the airbrush place.
At the airbrush place,
y'all are willing to fight, and it's weird. I was happy to see Cardi and Meg before. At the VMAs.
They are artists, them too.
They are
stars. Do you hear me?
They are stars, and the lesbian energy that these two women who be pining over men brings is just incredible to me.
I'm sure they're just ushering you through the summer, aren't they?
They really are. Just giving me music, giving me visuals, giving me color. I was happy to see
choreography,
everything. I was so happy to see. Did you watch the performance?
Oh, their performance?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Did you see the interchange between Nicki Minaj and not Nicki Minaj? Jesus Lord, forgive me. Meg Thee Stallion and Justin Timberlake that had the girls.
What happened?
So it looked like they were beefing, right? Because her finger was moving and she was all in his face.
But I know that's how we.
Yes, that's so. The context was that Justin Timberlake walked by her because NSYNC was at the show, they had things to do. Walked by her and said, "Oh, we finally get to meet," and she said, "No, this isn't us meeting. This don't count. We gotta meet." So that's why she was giving the energy with the hands, because I was ready to actually find Justin Timberlake and have a conversation with him.
Same. This is what I said. I said, "Oh, the girls remembered about Janet. They don't forget.
We don't forget."
I was thinking like, it was like, don't speak to me until you spoke to Janet.
Right. Did you apologize to Damita Jo?
Okay.
But
listen, I said the Black women are like the North. We don't forget.
The North remembers. The Black women remember. I gotta put that on a mug too. Black women remember. We do not forget.
Listen, that's a shirt too. Thank you.
That is a shirt. Like the North, Black women remember.
We sure do.
Selena Gomez, and then I'm off this topic, and we getting into the troublesome people.
Oh no.
Selena Gomez is getting a little backlash on the internet because
Why?
Chris Brown was nominated for an award. And, you know, they read off the nominees before they give out the awards. And when they read his name, the camera, of course, caught her making the fuck is he getting an award for face?
I think that's fair.
I think
am I supposed to be mad about?
I'm not. I'm not.
Who's mad about that?
Weirdos. Maybe because I'm a certain age.
And grown. We good and grown and can justify our faces. We can make a face if we want to. Y'all be all right.
You will be. Here's the thing. Chris Brown has done some things, more than one thing, that would be considered vile and inappropriate. Mostly, predominantly to women. Now, some people say he's grown. That was years ago. They're past that. They've forgotten and forgiven. And that's fine. But just like the North, some people remember. And there are some things that I find unforgivable. I'm sure there's some things that Whitney finds unforgivable. And I'm sure there are things that Selena Gomez finds unforgivable. And if Chris Brown and his dealings are those things, she's allowed to make a face. Y'all being upset because she was upset is very weird. I mean,
very strange behavior. Why are y'all so reliant upon these celebrities to emote for you or to not emote for you?
I don't know.
Like, why do y'all think that these actual human beings, you're entitled to these actual human beings, like explanations and emotions? Like, why? Y'all need to sort that out, perhaps in therapy or with a good journal, because it's getting weird. I think the access to celebrity is making y'all real weird.
Weird. It is.
Weird. These are human beings, y'all.
They have good days, they have bad days, they have mean days, they have happy days, and they have real legitimate feelings. And
she could have had a wedgie in that moment. Y'all know what was going on in her life. Sorry, Selena. Like, y'all know what's going on. She could have had like one of those burps where like your dinner comes back and you're like, wait,
oh God,
is something about to happen? You don't know what was going on in her life. She could have been thinking like, did I turn off the curling iron? Like, y'all don't know what was happening in that moment. I'm just saying. So instead of judging people like, oh, she made a face, like that's what they did with Angela Bassett when Angela Bassett didn't suddenly stand up.
And she didn't make a face. She just was
stoic.
I've never seen anybody catch so much hell for doing nothing. She just sat and blinked. She blinked.
I mean,
a whole lot of blinking.
Academy Award that she probably was really excited and thought that she was going to win. Now, I'm not going to get into whether I think that Jamie Lee Curtis deserved it or not. I'm not going to get into that
because I like Jamie.
I like Jamie. She's one of our unproblematic faves, and I know that now, as I said, that she's going to do something.
Now, it's the Whitney curse.
Oh God! Please. I know 18 different planets are in microbraid, but please.
Microbraid.
They are in microbraid.
Well, wait, one of them came out of microbraids, didn't they?
I don't know. One of them stopped drinking with the rocks by the window. I don't know.
Oh, I got a story about witches.
Oh, wait. Let's get to it after you finish talking about Selena. We gotta get to it. We have so much to cover.
I think it's weird. Whitney has a very valid point. There was a time for us who are a little older, who the only time we saw celebrities is when it was very, very intentional or when the paparazzi was harassing them. And when the paparazzi was harassing them, it was, again, very static in magazines. You catch them with no makeup, a bad hat on, baggy jeans, or stained shirt. And we're like, oh my God, they're humans just like us, but we don't like that. But now it's with this 24 access to celebrities, you see someone have an emotion or three emotions that I've had all before I had my morning coffee, and all of a sudden we dehumanize them. She made a face, probably because Chris Brown has done some shit in his career and in his life that she didn't like. I make faces when people do shit that I don't like also. Oh yeah. So does everybody listening to this podcast and everybody not listening to this podcast. So for the media, one, for the cameraman, stop being shady, grow up.
Stop being shady. Stop it.
For those who tried to make it a viral moment, I just want people to start thinking in their worst moments, not even in their worst moments, the most uncomfortable moments. Imagine if this moment went viral. Imagine if every time you had road rage, it went viral. Every time you didn't have the best parenting moment, it went viral. Every time you sucked your teeth and had an attitude because the line was too long at Dollar Tree because they only ever put one person up at the register, it went viral. And then think that, and then try and show some people some grace because it's getting stupid.
It's getting weird. Y'all are looking weird out here.
Very, very weird. The girl made a face. He didn't boo and throw a tomato at him, which would have been hilarious.
I'm sorry.
Oh God, I would.
I am an immature person because the scream I would have scrumped. The scream I would have scrumped. You would have heard it all the way where you live.
The sound that would have escaped me. Oh my God.
Oh my God. I was like, what?
What's happening? But quickly to the witches before we get into the problematic people.
As we enter spooky season also.
And okay, so I have a whole lot of love for the astrology girls, for the moon rock girls, and I say moon rock not to dismiss what y'all take personally or what y'all value. It's just that I don't know enough about stones and gems and the powers that they have or the time that you put into them. And the tarot girls, all of those things. I wonder if my sister still does tarots. I might need to call her. Anyway, over the last week, I have had not one, not two, but 3 self-identified witches reach out to me asking me
on Instagram.
One was on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
One was on Facebook, and one was a friend of a friend. Now, the friend of a friend came first, and I was like, yeah, girl, start your business. I don't personally know anybody who gets apparently there are people who get their palms read and their tarot cards done like monthly or bi-weekly, almost like hair, nails, tarot cards. I struggle to keep up with my nail appointments. So I didn't know that, but she was asking, refer some clients her way. And if I know anybody, I'll send them her way. Then I got the Instagram girls in my DMs like, hey, I noticed this aura about you. Congratulations on this thing that just happened. Let me tell you what's coming next because it's going to be big. And I was like, that's weird. And then I got it again in another DM, but from somebody else. And I'm like, okay, clearly I'm not saying that this is the new scam. That's not what I'm saying. But clearly this is the marketing that they've chose to. But girl, why did I don't know how to say this in a way that doesn't sound super weird. I got added to a group chat, but it's like a coven of Black witches. I'm in the coven group chat, y'all. And I don't even know how I got there. Whitney, explain it to me.
How? Didn't Deborah Cox sing this? This was a Deborah Cox song, right? Because how did you get there? Your ass wasn't supposed to be there. What the hell?
The whole group chat is about divorce, so I'm added to the group. Whoa. And listen.
This is very specific. Black witches who are about divorce.
It's a coven, a Black witch coven, a Black witch divorce coven. That is the episode title.
Are they putting roots on people? Like, what's going on?
What I've seen, yes and no.
Oh dear.
So
no, let me not ask.
So
that's not my business. I was not invited.
What? Listen.
You like, how did I get?
I don't know how I got here. So I see my name come up. I've been added to the chat, and I'm like, what is this? Because I can't pronounce the name of the chat. I don't know how I got here. So I'm scrolling through, and they're talking about what to do when you're going through challenging and trying times when it comes to spiritual separation. And I'm like, okay, let's see where this goes. And I don't know anything about charging crystals. I don't know. I do know something about meditating. I don't know anything about meditating with certain things and spiritual baths and anything like that. But I clearly could use this group chat as a as a tool to learn. So if anybody out there is going through a divorce right now and needs some help and assistance,
I'm not laughing about the divorce. I'm laughing about the plug.
I'm not going through a divorce right now, at least not to my knowledge, unless my wife is about to serve me with some papers that I don't know about.
No, don't say that. No.
Oh my God, do you think I'm about to go through?
No, I don't think so. No. I I almost choked there. I think that.
Oh no, you know something.
I don't. I promise you, I don't know nothing, child. You know what I know? I know Gabby's dollhouse. I know Bluey. And I know that now we are going into the Blues Clues phase. There's a lot happening here, but that's all I know. I don't know nothing, child.
Yeah, but they were basically coaching a young lady who's going through a divorce and needed some help and some resources.
Oh, bless her.
I think I have a sneaky suspicion of how I got into this group. I haven't commented in the group. I also haven't left because I'm just a little nosy. But also I need like some plausible deniability, so I'm not commenting. I can be like, I wasn't there, I didn't see it, but I don't know what
you're talking about.
But yeah, I think I know who and how I got there, and I'm here to say I ain't got much for you. I can't help you, sis. But yeah, witches, they're out there, and
all right.
They're Black, and I support the Black girls.
They're Black.
So
they're Black.
They out here looking out for each other. Shout out to the divorce coven. Y'all are doing the thing.
The divorce.
They sent Amazon links to merch. I said, this is an operation.
You know, I love that wherever Black women are, there will be community built.
Yes.
Wherever Black women are, there will be community built and supported. We are the original community activists, so I love that. I love that for the Rocks by the Window girls.
I did learn you charge them on a full moon. That's how your rocks get power. It's like a phone charger, but it only happens during the full moon. I was like, you girls are something else.
Yeah. Let them listen. I don't mess with them. I don't bother them. But listen, if they tell me something to look out for, I'm like, okay, girl.
I'm gonna tell y'all how my wife left a love rock under my bed, under my pillow.
She put a root on you.
Early in our relationship, and now we married. But that's a story for another day. I found it when I was moving out, and I was like, this witchy bitch here.
She put a root on you.
Yeah, I wish I was making that up, but I'm not. But we're gonna move on. We are going to go to our quick, very brief commercial break where we beg you for letters, and then we are going to talk about our problematic people. Whitney is going to drag and make me cackle, and then we are going to get into a sibling squabble, and Whitney's going to give advice there because I got
no. No.
We will be back in just a second, people. You know, we always love to hear from you at the Problematic Podcast. So if you have a problematic question or story, feel free to email us at theproblematicpod@gmail.com, or now you can text us at 267-225-4648. Again, that's 267-225-4648. Standard messaging rates apply. We love to hear from you. Now let's get into today's problematic letters. Whitney, I'm here to remind you of your book pivot, Problematic Story.
Thank you. Forget. Thank you. So I am working very, very closely with this wonderful publishing house called Row House Books. Row House Books, this is not an ad. Row House Books, they champion what they call voices that matter. And so they've been really intentional about making the book industry and the publishing industry very, very diverse. If you want a great follow them on Instagram, Row House. I believe it's just Row House Books. But I'll get that information to you guys. And so they announced that we were going to be partnering together because I'm like their news/book liaison person. Like I'm telling them why these books matter.
Congratulations.
Like, oh, thanks. Very excited. This is very Whitney. I get to talk about the news. I get to talk about books. I get to do it at home.
I love that for you. I love that for you.
Like I was like, oh, I love everything about this. Absolutely. And you know, my prayer at the start of this year was, Lord, I just want to work with people who align. I said, less work, more money.
Come on now. Yes, prayer, right?
The prayer is less work and more money.
Whitney's prayer.
Because I want to spend more time with my daughter. Like, I want to spend more time with my daughter. And he's been doing it. Like, it's been a whole lot less work, and I've had a whole lot more time with her. So really, really, really glad. Because I got to get her ready, because next year I think we're starting school. But anyway, that's another conversation for another day. That could be emotional. So we're working with Row House. Row House is awesome. Shout out to their founder and CEO. I believe she's the CEO or president. Rebecca. She's great. She's phenomenal. I love her. So they announced that we are partnering together. They posted one of my videos where I'm talking about the publishing industry and how this is something y'all need to look out for. This might go on the problematic list as well. Check who's writing your books.
Oh, yes.
I was looking for books for M's, right? But I want accurate representation. So I'm like, okay, if it has a Black girl on the cover, it should have a Black author.
It should.
No. No, it don't. No, it don't. After 2020, there was a surge in books that had diverse characters on it, but that does not mean diverse authors. And so you would have these white authors who were writing. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the books themselves. They're beautiful books, but they were, whether intentionally or not, in some cases not, like some authors were writing these books and they didn't really care about who the story was about, but then they would come back and it would be these Black characters. But then you have other people like Gaia Cornwell, who I'll talk about another time, who wrote an entire series called, it's based on the book Jabari Jumps. The little boy is named Jabari. I would have thought that was written by a Black person
named Bilal, but apparently not.
And it's about him being brave and jumping into the pool and not being afraid to swim. And it's a lovely story. There's also Mary Had a Little Glam.
Oh, come on now.
A Black girl who is doing her thing. I believe it has a Black illustrator, but we're talking about authors here. And the author herself, like she was trying to help sometimes like intentions and then like impact.
Yeah. Because it can feel like pandering.
Yeah, but like I respect the intent. Like I respect it. But a better thing would be to empower a Black author.
How about that?
How about collab? Since you like collaborate on the story. So at least it gets another Black author in the door. Because that's the diversity problem. Kind of like what we talked about earlier in the segment. So anyway, so that's the video that they shared. It's getting a lot of comments. It's getting a lot of engagement. I'm really, really proud of it. I'm really, really happy. That people are starting to look and talk about this, because a lot of people had no idea. And then there was others who were like, yeah, when I was looking for books for my kid, we ran into the same problem.
Uh-oh.
Here's the part. A person who I had worked with previously decided to come into the comment section of that video and say, I love Whitney. I love her work, but this is the problem that we keep running into with publishers, that they completely skip over Black book talkers, Black book Instagrammers, Black book influencers, and go directly to just big Black influencers. And she's like, et tu, Brute? Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It's happening right now.
Yeah. So this would be different if this was somebody who I did not know. But this is somebody who I not only knew and
but worked with.
Yeah. She asked me to like share some of her stuff. And I'm like, absolutely, I will. It was like, for Trans Day of Visibility, there was a challenge, and she was part of that challenge. She asked me to share some of the videos for that. And so I'm sitting here like baffled, because I'm like, did you really just come into the comment section? And then she like doubled and tripled down. Like people were like saying, well, Whitney's been talking about books for years. Like just because you haven't seen her stuff doesn't mean she hasn't.
This is how I met Whitney, talking about.
Some people actually said that. They're like, that's how we started following her, because she was talking about the 1619 Project. Like, what are you talking about? Whitney's been talking about books for years. The brand comes back, Row House comes back, and they're like, oh, well, Whitney's not going to be strictly talking about books. She's also going to be talking about news, but also we work with a diverse group of people that we have hand chosen, that we love and respect, i.e. we ain't talk to you.
Right.
Because we don't know you like that.
Right.
And we don't like what you're doing.
Business, bitch.
Right here. But she kept doubling down like, oh, well, Row House said, anyone could give book recommendations. And she's like, well, I disagree with that. And I'm like, she's like, nobody knows Whitney nobody for cares. Books. And nobody would take Whitney's recommendations for books. And I'm like,
excuse me?
So I didn't respond. I just blocked her. Because I was like,
This is a hater. They say if you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping. And I need to say that to my friend, because I mean, shout out to Row House publisher for advocating and stepping up and saying, no, we stand by our decision because she is talented and deserving of this position and this opportunity. But you, little hating ass bitch from the internet who wanted to be my friend and wanted to be my ally and is now my biggest hater, kick rocks.
I tell you, my jaw was on the freaking floor, Rita. I couldn't believe it. I was like, we've worked together. We've had conversations together. I told you, you were one of the first people I told that I want to make this pivot into books because I love reading. And you were like, yeah, I think that would be really good because you talk about books. So I'm like, wait a minute.
You know, the saying, those who can't do teach. I think now with this new internet, those who can't do hate, and they thumb thug on Instagram and Twitter post, because clearly something about your success and your accomplishment, and you told her you were going to do a thing, and you did the thing, and something spiritually, I'm about to put this in the Coven group chat.
No, don't, girl.
Something about that bothered her.
Yeah.
It's raining on somebody's parade is whack as fuck. And shout out to you and shout out to Row House for not going for it.
Yeah, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that we had this relationship growing for like a year before they actually even presented me with the idea. And they just simply said like, hey, we would love to collaborate with you. I said, yes. And they were like, don't you want to know the details? I was like, no,
I'll be over there.
You could send me the details, but know that whatever you need, I'm here for. And so like we have been growing, like just it was just organic. But I told you what the prayer was. If it doesn't align, get it out of here. But if it aligns, let it stay. And so here we are. And I'm just, can I be really transparent? My feelings hurt.
Listen.
My feelings hurt, but then here's the kicker, because the Lord likes to do this to me. Y'all gonna let me preach for like 2 minutes. You're gonna let me preach for 2 minutes.
I've got my collection offering ready. Let's go.
The Lord likes to do this to me, where He'll show me what really matters when my feelings get hurt. And so He likes to remind me that you don't know that person. You don't know what that person's going through.
Right.
I was proud of myself for not responding because I had big feelings, and usually when I have big feelings, I have big reactions. And so I took my big reaction to my husband and to my friends, and I was like, all right, cool, bet.
I'm good.
Leave it alone. Well, I was making dinner one night, and my kid got real quiet, and you know, alarms. Alarms. She wasn't in the room watching TV, so I went back to her bedroom. Don't you know, this little child had climbed up into our rocking chair with a blanket on her lap and was reading her books.
Oh,
and the Lord was like, and so I posted that moment because it was just so sweet. And then shout out to Imani. Here come Imani.
Shout out to Imani. I love Imani. Imani is one of my favorite people.
Shout out to Imani, who came into my comments and said, period. It's like, people talk about you not a book influencer. Look at her. Look at your 2-year-old. And I started crying on the phone. I'm like, oh my God, it's true. I'm like, she's the only one who matters. And I was like, if I influence no one else, if she loves books, that's the thing that matters, because I love books, and I remember how books saved me. I remember how like I ran to books during really great times and really dark times. I love books. I was a library kid. I was a Book It kid. I was a Scholastic Book Fair kid. And so like all of these things make up our stories. And so like I was just like, okay, thank you for this moment. We're gonna keep going. But yeah, the moral of the story is, don't be a hating ass bitch over books.
Please don't.
After I preach,
it's fine. I like my preachers who cuss. I like cussing preachers. Don't give me no non-cut. I need a preacher who cusses just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
But I say again, I'm proud of you and congratulations. And I'm glad that you, in that moment, your feelings are allowed to be hurt, because that's some hateful ass shit to do. And hateful stuff can be hurtful. But the pivot is, you know, when God answers your prayers,
ma'am,
the devil hates it. And you go sometimes God shields us from the devil hating and stomping his feet, and then other times you get on the internet and you see it live and in color. So
right in your face, right in your face. I think, the comments, like not in the DMs.
No, in the comments.
Sent it to me in the comments where everyone would see. Like you
had that girl was hurt because you did it and she wanted to do it and you did it. You could do it.
But and she could also do it. That's the thing. That's the thing. I don't.
Now I'm gonna be her hater. No, you can't. Because if you could have, you would have done it. That's why Whitney got it and you don't.
Friend, you know me. You know you know what I'm gonna say. I don't feel like my life is extraordinary. I just feel like extraordinary things happen when you position yourself.
And you can't position yourself being a hater in the comments. And that's why she can't win.
Imagine if she had just asked me for something like, "Hey, can we collab?" She's like, I really respect Row House. I would love to collaborate. Let's do something together. Do you know how fast I would have been like, yo, Row House, I know this great. Like, you're blocking your blessing and you're burning your bridges by being a hater.
Woulda. Right. You're right. You're right. And she's going to keep doing that. If you
I want us all to eat.
Imagine if you poured that much energy, like you said, into collaborating and achieving your own dreams instead of trying to rain on my parade.
That I didn't mean to make the show about me.
No, it's fine. That's a beautiful problematic address. I appreciate you. Shout out to Whitney. She's like,
you're way too kind as usual.
We have.
Let me hear this letter.
Oh baby,
that I'm not ready for.
Oh ever. Baby. So this one is actually from a friend of mine, and I encouraged her to sum it up and send it to the podcast because it was, I won't say it hit a little too close to home to me. I also have a brother. It'll make sense at the end. Let me just read the story.
Okay.
I had a pretty bad disagreement with my brother, 29 in parentheses, after I intervened in a fight he was having with my mother. My mother checked him on his questionable parenting and explained that it's not her job to pick up his slack when he could be doing more. He actually told my mother she needs to find some damn business of her own to mind. I interjected because you're not going to talk crazy to my mom. Now my brother and my mom are back on good terms, and my brother and I don't talk, and I only see my niece when she's at my mom's. I'm mad for a lot of reasons. One, if I had talked to my mom that way, it would have been a bigger problem. The family would have gotten involved and I'd be ousted. But of course, Black sons get away with it all. Ooh. 2, my second problem, and the one I'd like advice with, is this. I want to fix things with my brother and be a better aunt to my niece because her parents are just not able to do all they need for her. But I want my brother to see where he's wrong because he can't disrespect everyone who wants to help him be a better man and dad. What should I do?
Yeah. Well, damn.
Okay.
Oh.
We couldn't keep it lighthearted. We didn't name this person,
did we?
No, we did not. Let's make up a name.
I'm gonna call you Jules. I don't know why.
I like Jules.
I'm gonna call Jules. Yeah, Jules. Jules. First of all, and I mean this in the most sincere term, not in the Southern shade term. Bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Bless your heart, because you had good intentions. I see immediately that you are a protector. That you are a protector of your family, that you care a lot about your family, that you love your family. And even in that moment where you were standing in that gap between your mother and your brother, you were essentially protecting them both, right? Because you were protecting your mom in a very obvious way, but you were protecting your brother in a way where, like, I don't know what you think this family is, but we are not that. So
we ain't that.
Let me bring you in before we get you out. Okay.
That's a very good point. I didn't think about that, but yes.
Yeah.
It's also protecting him.
Yeah, love shows up in a myriad of ways. Like sometimes we have to do like the deep digging to see, sometimes love is gonna be like, I'm gonna bust your ass and then we're gonna go get something to eat. And sometimes love is like, I'm gonna give you a big hug and I'm gonna let you cry. Love shows up in a myriad of ways. It's not just mushy and gushy. Sometimes it's hard and challenging. And you showed that and you demonstrated that and you did that. And even in your letter, you say nothing about yourself. You say everything about your concern for your family. So when I say bless your heart, I mean it, because you have the best intentions and I feel that. But you're right. Your brother can't be flying flippantly off the handle at anyone who's trying to help them. That's what families do. And it may be uncomfortable. We could talk about the manner in which we do things, because there's times when we're willing to receive advice and then there's times where we're not. I know some families have a code word, or relationships have a code word where people are like, I have to say something hard, so we have a code word, so I'm gonna say that word. I'm gonna make sure that it's just you and me in the room. That way you don't get like that weird embarrassment that we get when we get that type of energy from with other people around. I'm gonna do what I have to do to encourage this relationship. But you also like, and I hate to say this as a feminist, men in their pride.
Okay.
Men in their pride.
Get into it.
Men in their pride, like they've been taught to be egotistical and to guard that ego, even in the face of like some really foolish decisions, like getting in their mother's face. Like, are you crazy? Have you lost your mind?
Yes. Yes.
Like, absolutely not. So, I hate this. I hate ego. Like, I hate ego because it stands in the way of the things that we really need. Like, there's good things about ego and there's bad things about ego. It's all about what you're doing.
But most of them are bad. Most of them are bad. There are very good things about ego because ego is it's almost like your mind's natural protection over your entire self. It's a shield.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, it shields the good and the bad. It blocks the good and the bad.
When you're bashing people over the head with your shield, that's not good.
That's a problem.
That's a problem. And I hate that your mother stepping in to try to help him was translated into some form of attack on him. That's something that he's going to need to work at. That's not something that you can help him with. And even if you point it out, I don't know if he's in a place to receive what you're pointing out. I think, me personally, because I'm emotional, I'm an emotional person, emotional being, I appeal to people's emotions. And so whenever, like, let's take me and the spouse, for example, whenever he and I are like having a disagreement, I have to remind him and myself, let's just be really clear. I have to remind him and myself, I'm not fighting you. I'm not angry at you. I'm angry at this thing, because this thing that's happening right now is standing between you and I. Mm-hmm. And so I want you to join me to fight this thing. I'm not fighting you.
Right.
I'm not fighting you. I'm fighting this thing that is in between us. So please join me to fight this thing. How can we dismantle this thing so that there's nothing between us, so that we have a free-flowing communication and good vibes in this house? And I find 9 times out of 10, when you explain things like that, people feel more relaxed because then they don't feel attacked.
True.
And they feel like the issue is getting addressed rather than them being checked and being disrespected. So I don't know if that helps. Yeah.
I think I echo everything that you said here. Because this is someone I know and I know pretty well. Mm-hmm. I will say,
you know the brother?
Not as much. He's a lot younger than us. He's like the age gap,
right?
Yeah, the age gap is almost 10 years. So
yeah,
it's significant. But I know the sister and I know the mother. And I'll say this. I understand why you interjected. She put the emphasis on the second point of she wants to be in her niece's life and she wants to smooth things over with her brother. And she wants him to see, where he could do better. Because if he's still walking around thinking he's not doing anything wrong, then it's hard to address the reconciliation. Because if mom is telling you can be a better dad in these ways, she's probably not telling you that to be spiteful. And because I know the mother and I met the mother personally, again, this is someone who I know and I have known for almost 20 years. She's telling you this because she sees your shortfall and she's saying, I know you're capable of better, so do better. Him not grasping that kind of leaves the tension between them, and I get that. I think the first part is significant also. You stepped in and you protected your mother and in turn protected your brother. There is an anger that comes when you know the same would not be done for you. And I'm saying this from a personal standpoint. Those who know me personally know I had a brother. My brother passed in 2018, but he was my younger brother. And there was an incident where my brother said something to my mother that I just knew. It just hung in the air. My mother was there, my uncle was there, I was there, my brother was there. And it came out and I knew. If I had so much shit, there's no way I would have made it out that room. But my brother made it out that room. It was so weird. But there's this idea that the treatment between the sons in our community and the daughters in our community is very different, and the sons receive more grace. And I believe that that's true, but I also, and I'm not excusing the mothers, but I also need the daughters to recognize he's getting more grace because you're getting more resources. And that may sound crazy, and it might not make you feel better, but I feel like Black mothers put their daughters in positions to be successful, and they put their sons in positions to be forgiven and to survive. And that when you sit on the other side and be like, damn, I want that same grace, I want that same understanding, I want that same coddling, but you don't realize how many times you have to fail in order to get that grace, and how many times you have to be in positions that you're not prepared for, and how often people choose not to prepare you for the things that you deserve because they want to protect you from the things that they don't deserve. And I'm not preaching, I'm not making excuses for the mothers. It took me some time to see that we protect those who we feel like are more likely to be victims, and we prepare those who we feel like are more likely to succeed. And I would rather be on the preparation side than the protection side. That's me. It took me some time to get there. And again, I love my mother. I don't have any complicated or bad feelings.
This doesn't mean that you don't love your mother.
Yeah, but I also noticed, like, my mom really did put in the work to treat us the same. But in the areas where she knew she couldn't treat us the same, it was an inherent motherly thing. I have to protect this child. I have to prepare this child. I'm protecting this child because I love it. I want it to survive. I'm preparing this child because I love it and I want it to survive. So there's a difference. So the point one that she kind of glossed over, I want more sisters, more mothers, more members of our community to recognize that. And it's not your mom's fault that she has to exist in that space, because those are the circumstances that society historically has placed on parents in our community. That's one. Two, your brother is a 29-year-old man. Maturity comes when it comes, and it's probably not going to show up for another 20 years. So I recommend that you reconcile this with the expectation that this shit's going to probably happen every Thanksgiving or at least twice a year until your niece is grown. But do not, for any reason, miss out on the opportunity to help your niece be the best child.
Yes.
She acknowledged that the parents they ain't all there. I don't know what those circumstances are. Again, I know the sister way better than I know the brother, but I know that he ain't the most mature adult functioning human being.
Right.
Your niece deserves you. If that means reconciling with your brother, even if it doesn't necessarily feel the most sincere, it can get sincere after a few months. Make the first step, because if you are asking him to be the bigger man, it's never going to happen. Little brothers cannot be the bigger man. I shouldn't say that. That's not true.
That's
the hurt sister in me. That's hurt sister in me. But also, you're the eldest child, so if you were born to be the bigger person, it sucks. It's not a fun responsibility.
Oh my God, I was always told to be the bigger person. And in some cases with my older sibling, I was like, well, why do I always got to be the bigger person?
Because you built for this. You built different, and it's for this. It's not fun, but that's your gift. God gives you gifts, and sometimes they are not fun gifts.
No, this is not a fun gift.
This is not a fun gift.
Why am I getting these socks, God? Like,
right? And this is a sock ass gift. Oh, that's perfect.
This is a sock gift, as opposed to you see your people riding bikes, playing video games, throwing toys
Whitney,
around. I'm like,
that is a word, right? This is a sock ass gift right here. But
it's not fun.
But
it's needed.
It's needed. And that sock ass gift comes with a lot of other things, like your propensity, your ability, and your resources and gifts to be a dope ass aunt. Like when you know in the situation, I am a better aunt than you two are parents in this moment.
Ouch.
Your niece, but your niece, it's an ouch, but your niece deserves. That's your sock. That's you using. That is you making the most of your sock. That is your socks, your pair of socks showing up on a cold ass day. So
there you go.
I encourage you, and Whitney. I can't say it as well as Whitney because Whitney's a wordsmith.
Stop it.
But it is important that you reconcile, and you have to be able to reconcile knowing that you can't ask your brother to be more mature in a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, that's going to take a lot of time.
Right. So if one hinges on the other, you got to find a way to unlink those two. That is the best advice that I can give, because brothers are going to piss you off from here to the end of this earth. I'm an older sister who misses my brother pissing me off. It used to annoy me, and now I was like, damn, I wish you could just irk my face again. I say that to say it's gonna happen again. It's a blessing that it can happen again.
Yeah.
Go get your niece. Like, that's all I can. Go get your niece.
Don't let anything stand between you, because like, especially in these smaller years, you look up and it's gone. It's just gone. Like, and you have nothing to show for these things, and like they're forming their relationships, they're forming their thoughts of these years, and it's really pivotal to capture as much of the time when they're this small as they are. So
it is. She turned her spare bedroom, her office / bedroom, into a bedroom for her niece, so her niece can spend the night and ain't gotta stress her mama out.
God gonna bless you real good. God gonna bless you real good.
She is. She really is. She's a wonderful aunt, and your brother's gonna be a brother. Brothers be brothering, sisters be sistering. Don't get me wrong, because I'm sure he like, this bitch always in my business, telling me what to do. Sister's gonna sister, but brother's gonna brother. You gotta just be aunt.
The proof is in the pudding, because here's the thing: you never know what you're doing for that child.
Come on, somebody.
You never know. And you may get your flowers earthside, you may get your flowers after, but you never know that you could be a resource, you could be a safe haven, you could become that first grown-up friend. Like, we don't talk about how aunts and uncles are the first grown-up friends.
They are
that our kids have.
You keep preaching today. No. We're gonna give you a church.
I think about my uncle. So the reason why we have this beautiful home that we have right now is because my uncle, my uncle owns it, and so we rent it from him. And it came right at the top of the pandemic, or right in the middle of the pandemic. I was about to give birth. We needed the space. My uncle was like, cool, I got a place for y'all. And we love this place. My uncle has been, he helped us out with the wedding. He has helped us out throughout our lives. He helped us out through my uncle has been like
the blessing.
Here, not asking for anything, not wanting anything, just, hey, I'm here, I'm ready to help. And he doesn't have any children of his own, so he looks at us like we're his kids. That reminds me, I need to go down the hallway and harass him. Because I need to know where he got these pumpkin seeds from, because my daughter likes his pumpkin seeds. The point is, our uncles and our aunts, if we have a good relationship with them, they become our first grown-up friends. Because, like, with parents, they're in the thick of things, so they don't feel like they're your friends until you get older. But aunts and uncles, they're like the fun people. Like, they bring you like the loud toys.
Yeah, and be the first to treat you like an adult when you're growing up.
Yeah. They're the first ones to look at to check your parents when they're treating you like a little kid. And you're like, that child is 20-something years old. Like,
that is a grown lady that you over here fussing about.
Right. Okay. They're the ones that'll help you move. They're the ones that'll help you in life. The good ones will. And you're already setting yourself up to be that for your niece. So, I mean, outside of, the relationship you have with your brother, do not let anything stand between you and your niece.
Amen.
Even your own pride.
Yeah, let it go. Because again, if you've ever had a brother, everybody listening to this podcast who's had a brother, and I'm not just talking about the women, it's men and women. If you've had a brother, you just know they just do some shit to be like, why would you do that shit?
You just be looking at them like, now what was the thought? What was the rationale?
Right? Why? But you owe it to yourself to be a better aunt, and reconciliation will come with your brother, and then you'll fall out again, and it'll get back together again.
It'll be fine.
It all comes out in the wash. Your focus is your niece. Whitney, thank you for this advice. She gonna get a copy of this episode early because she needs to hear this. Thank you. You're so wonderful.
You're so wonderful. And yeah, Jules, we're sending you lots of love. Keep us posted, keep us updated. I'm ready to fight all of you people who are not giving me my updates. I need to know what's happening.
You know what? I'm going to commit to this too, because I have most of them. So we have a Google Voice app.
I want to update show.
I need to, and a few weeks ago I texted one of the this was maybe 2 or 3 months ago. I texted one of the girls. I think her issue was she was dating a man who was bisexual, and she was like, "Oh my God, I have an update." And I didn't get the update. I gotta follow up and get the update. Yeah, that's on me. That's on me. But I will start sending messages back.
But the rest of you cutie pies, get on my updates.
Please, and thank you.
Get on my updates. I love y'all. Please, I want to hear.
We do. And I hope that each and every one of you listening has a great and fantastic week. Be sure to follow us on YouTube and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram at The Problematic Pod. Share this podcast with your friends, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.